a wonderful thing to be thankful on a continuous basis, just to be alive, to breathe fresh air, to see the sunshine, to live in God's world. But I'm especially thankful that through this pandemic, we have the ability to connect with one another. And 100 years ago when this occurred, that was not the case. So even though we are apart physically, we can be connected through talking to one another by FaceTime or through email or just through the telephone or even through letters that we can actually make human connections with one another. When the pandemic first reared its ugly head, it became very personal because Charlie's grandparents, actually his grandfather's parents, so it would be his great-grandparents, both died from the Spanish flu that occurred in 1917, 1918. And one of the first memories I have of being on a date with Charlie, we went to the cemetery and we saw where his great-grandparents were buried side by side, along with a number of other people. And so when this pandemic began, it was an extra touching, I suppose, to him and then to me, because of that personal connection that you can't take life for granted. Every day is precious, and his grandmother had the flu. His grandfather nursed her. She died. He buried her and then went home, got into bed, and within a few days died himself. So life, again, is precious and something to be thankful for every single minute we are in it. I've seen God at work in our church because the church is still so much a part of our community. It is still so active, even though physically we may not be in the same building. The fact that we can go online and not miss a beat in our worship, and the messages that are given by Cliff and Janice, the music that is so beautifully presented by those people that are wonderful singers, and we can sing along with them. The church has not gone away at all. And even though I personally, and Charlie and I have not physically been here since March, we are certainly very attached and very much a part of what's going on. It's also so comforting to know that if we need anything, not only is the church administration here to help us, but so is our church family, and the many, many friends that we've made and love are here, and I hear from them, and it's just so gratifying and lovely to be a part of such a wonderful group. Okay, I will tell you that when Cliff called and asked if I would chair Stewardship this year, I didn't hesitate a moment. I was happy to say yes because of the way that this campaign is always handled. Coming into the Presbyterian Church is such a different atmosphere of personal growth and connection to God. So there's no pressure from the administration here to give a certain amount because it has to meet a certain budget. We give as Presbyterians out of love, we give out of gratitude, and we give because that's what the Bible teaches us, not because someone is standing with a clipboard judging us for what we do. Another reason why it's so important to have stewardship and why I was happy to do it was because of the way this money is used. I've served on the United Way board for a number of years in the peer panel portion of that, and the idea that people are looking at where money is going and how it's used, and if the programs that the money goes for are successful and are done in the right spirit, then it makes an enormous difference in how I want to give my money, knowing that it has stewardship oversight. And the First Central Presbyterian Church is certainly a wonderful master at that. And so it's what you give is thoughtfully used and goes for the benefit not only locally, as it does. A great deal of our money goes out into our own community, but it also goes out globally to help everyone many people in need all over the world. And we can then feel good to be a part of God's work.